Hello, everyone. Welcome to one more episode of Consciousness in Evolution, a program from Reaprendência International. And this is our first webinar of 2024. Our objective is to present and debate themes related to human evolution, personal growth, self-re-education, parapsychism, bioenergies, multiple lives, and others under the lens of the consciential paradigm or the science conscienciology, that is the science which studies the consciousness in an integral way. It means with its multiple bodies and bioenergies, its multiple lives, and interacting with multiple dimensions. So it's a very broad science to study the consciousness. And we are live from our channels, Consciousness in Evolution and Reaprendência International at YouTube, okay? I also invite you to subscribe to our channels and follow us. And also, I will ask you a big favor to give your like and forward this live to your family and friends. That will help us a lot to continue this work. We will keep you updated on future courses and free webinars, okay? And today, in today's webinar, I'm very happy to talk about this subject of today. And I will be presenting you a very interesting technique to help you to plan your year ahead and promote the changes you want to and achieve all your personal goals. And this is a technique called 1MYILT of Intraphysical Life Technique that is very known in conscienciology. And I can say that thousands of people have applied successfully this technique. And I am one of them. And I am also, I brought you a teacher, an instructor of conscienciology that I'm very happy that she's here with us to talk about this technique that is Regina Schud, who is going to talk about this great tool to boost our evolution. So welcome, Regina.
Hi, Eliane. Hello, people. I'm very happy to be here. Thanks for the invitation. It's great to talk about that subject. It's very dear to me.
Thank you, Regina. So, people, Regina Schud holds a degree in business administration and is the project manager of an e-learning platform for medical professionals. She is also educated in mediation. Regina was born and lives in Frankfurt, Germany, and she has been a volunteer of Conscienciology since 2007. She's currently volunteering for Isaac and the 1MYILT of Intraphysical Life Technique and is engaged in translation projects. She is a member of the Invisible College of Pacifismology. Besides this, she volunteers in a hospital accompanying terminal patients in the process of the soma. So, welcome again, Regina. And I have a first question for you. Why did you decide to do this technique, to apply this technique?
Well, for me, at one point in my life, I had this this idea that I need to accelerate my evolution a little bit, so that I was stuck at that time. And I heard about this technique from a dear friend of mine, Anne-Katrin Vogt, and she was talking about this technique. So first I heard that, I was interested in the technique, and so I learned more about it, and I asked people, how can I do that? And so I got in contact with the people teaching this technique, and yeah, I was happy enough to get my slot, and so I entered some years
Very
ago.
good. So very good. So let's get started. Okay. I will add the presentation here, and we will tell you more about it, about this technique and why we apply that. and other details. People, just feel free to send us any question, right? We are going to start with the principle of disbelief. As I told you, we are having a conscienciological lens over this lecture today and over this technique. So we usually start with the principle of disbelief. Don't believe in anything, not even in what you hear in this class, in this webinar. Experiment, have your own experiences. And I have some initial questions for you. I don't know, you guys who are watching us, have you ever had a sensation that you want to change things in your life, but it's hard to do it? It might have any kinds of change, internal changes, intraconsciential changes, or change the way you live, the people you interact to, what you want to know new people, more interesting people, or to conquer something, to accomplish something. And if you think, if you had just one more year of life ahead, what would be your priorities? Okay, what would you choose to do with this short time? Because 1 year is something that goes by very fast. Okay, so it is a question just for us to starting and warming up. What usually happens to us human beings is that we know that we want to change what we want to change in our lives. We after a certain time we know who we would like to be, what we would like to achieve. But there is a tendency, and this is more or less general, that one day I will do this. We will start procrastinating. And then we think, well, I will organize myself first. I have to reconciliate with those persons, with those people. And then after that, after everything is okay, I will do what I have to do. And we spend a lot of time thinking about that, and more time thinking than even doing what we have to do. And and I want to point out that today we live in times of dispersion. We have the internet that has great content, but it's also dispersing us all the time with new information, new courses, new things, and our focus sometimes is lost, the focus on the priority. And our life might goes by and the things might be still the same. So that's what we want to avoid applying this technique. And there are some questions. Another question: why is it so difficult to change? Most of the time, people, we are in the robotization mode, right? And this robotization mode, and also there is, I'm going to invite Regina to talk about what is the robotization mode, Regina.
Yeah,
Regina.
I think you already started explaining a little bit about that, right? We all have our daily routines, right? We get up in the morning, then we probably go to work, or we do the things we have to do in our normal day-to-day life, and then we get home again, we eat something, we have our evening routine, and so on. So more or less, if we really stop and reflect about how was my last week, for instance, we will see most of the times the days are more or less the same. We all have a full schedule, right? And so this is what we talk like acting like robots, right? Doing the same routine, and we operate in this way without taking our time to stop and to reflect about our actions, our attitudes. What are we doing, right? What are we doing with our time? And this is so important, I think. And for me, it's interesting to have this stop really intentionally and to see, okay, what is it that I'm doing? What is it that I'm spending my time with? And is this something that is pro-evolution? It's not about, we are just wasting our time. But the most interesting question is if we are doing something that is in the line of our existential program, or in the line of our, some people say, life mission or life project. And this is so important. As Eliane told you in the beginning, I'm working as a volunteer with terminal patients, right? And one of the things I hear again and again, that people that know that they only have some time left in this intraphysical dimension, that they regret a lot of things, and that they then stop and say, I would have liked to do this or that. And so this stopping of this robotization mode, this is very, very important, right? And also perfectionism, this is a tendency I also have, right? And sometimes we are so consumed by doing things better and better, and to reach our goals, it is not really important to be 100% perfectionist. So sometimes we are hindering ourselves in moving forward, you know. Sometimes we have this tendency to work on this perfectionism, not in order to confront ourselves with certain things. So we take our time to make little things better, you know. So that's sometimes a problem. Or even the procrastination. I think a lot of people know about this topic, and we all have more or less this tendency a little bit, right, to avoid things that we don't like, you know. You were talking about this reconciliation, right? We
Yes.
always have this idea, there's still time to reconcile with this person, or to do this or that, which things that are important for us. But especially if it's unpleasant and we don't want to confront ourselves or even other people, we tend to procrastinate.
Yeah, sometimes the thing is pleasant, but we are so robotized, we are so used to do the same stuff that we have to difficulty in change habits. And this technique is really great for helping us to change habits. Can I move forward?
Please.
Here we're talking a little bit more about perfectionism, procrastination, Regina.
Yes, exactly. Well, just to give some example, right? Losing weight or taking care of our health, you know. So we are, these are topics we think, it's still a little time until I start doing more exercises or whatever. But time goes by very fast, and sometimes really faster than we wish it would, you know, because we, as we know, we can have, I don't know, an accident, illness, whatever it is, and time can be there faster to decimate than we expect. So in that sense, I think it's a good thing to stop from time to time in order to think, what is it that I'm procrastinating, right?
And another thing that happens is that when we want to change things in our lives, there is always the ones who are near us who might not want it. Our friends are asking, why are you going to for the gym? You are not like that. Why aren't you going to have a beer today? You just had, why? You usually have 2 beers every day, but today you don't want to have it. Why? What's happening to you? Are you ill? There is, people get amazed when we have a different behavior. So sometimes we
Exactly.
have to update our friends on what's going on with us. We haven't, a new approach, a new
Yeah,
way of doing things.
exactly. Because if we change, it has always also an influence on others, right?
Yes, for sure.
Exactly. Yeah, and what really helps is if you ask yourself this question, right? Because it gives you a sense of urgency, right? As I said, many people have these kind of regrets at this end of life, you know, that they say, I would have loved to do this or that. And but if you take this before, or if you take this question to you now, you can reduce these regrets, you know, because if you apply this technique, and later on we will talk about the benefits. I think one of that is that you have this urgency in that sense that you can help yourself in order to have less regrets, right? And so in that sense it helps a lot to yeah, to apply the technique and to raise this question, what is really important to me, and not in the end to think, oh goodness, I was many hours on Facebook or on Instagram or whatever, but I lost my north out of sight, so to speak.
So we can then define the technique. Okay, so this technique is a set of optimized procedures performed by a lucid experimenter who wishes to boost their consciential evolution, making this intraphysical life yield more, employing more decisive energy resources to solve issues and achieve priority goals based on the assumption that you will have just one more year of human life. And that might sound a little bit weird, strange. People, when you say that, people usually tend, in society in general, people tend to say, oh, let's not talk about death. Let's not talk about that because it might attract bad things. People don't want to talk about that, but they don't understand that it's a natural process and we don't know when it's going to happen. That's for sure. And if we start looking at it with a more mature and broader cosmovision about our evolutionary process, that will help us a lot to live the human life better, in a better way. And this technique is just a way to for us to change our habits, to have more focus, to work on the priorities, to avoid procrastination, right? And we have here the objectives here to help us to eliminate behaviors that delay our evolution and place us in the comfort zone. Okay, because we tend to stay in the comfort zone. How to go out of it? And another objective is to change for the better our attitudes that limit our personal growth and development, and to improve attitudes that generate conflicts and dissatisfaction in the personal, professional, physical, and mental health areas. So the idea, as Regina said, is to have a break. The person to immerse the person immerses himself for 1 year with the purpose of gaining 10 years in one. And that is something very serious, because I applied the technique for 6 times, 3 times in a group, and 3 times I did it by myself. Of course, doing the technique in a group, it's much better. You have much more instrument and support to do all of it. And what I can say is that it's really true. It's, for me, it happened like that. Everything started being organized in a way that helped me to achieve what was my priorities. What were my priorities? Okay, let's move a bit further. And how does it work? From where to start? So if you want to start, if you want to subscribe, we are going to give you all the information here in this webinar. Okay, so take a paper, take notes, because we are going to inform you how to subscribe. But let's suppose that you want to start to apply the technique. Okay, you will suppose, the first is to suppose that you will have just one more year of life ahead. And you are going to stay calm, quiet in an environment and reflect about that. The idea is that your time ends exactly 1 year from now, in the same day you are starting the technique. So you have 365 days. You should plan what you are going to do this year. Plan very carefully. And the guiding question is, how can I better live a human life? The idea certainly affects us and our way of functioning and facing life and its challenges. It really does. When you start thinking this way, you will probably have to face your priorities or unsolved issues. And that is very much related to intraconsciential traits that you want to achieve and reconciliations, for example. For me, these are the most important. That's the most important for Eliane. I don't know if it is for you, okay? But intraconsciential things, strengths that we want to achieve, to acquire for ourselves as consciousness, as multidimensional and multi-existential consciousnesses, and also to do reconciliations with our friends, group karma. Okay, so just for you to think. And what are the expected results after the person immerses himself for 1 year with the purpose of gaining 10 years in one? You are going to put a sense of urgency to overcome your unwanted behavioral barriers. You are going to say, well, that's enough. I will change it. And you take a look at it every day. You will take notes about your progress every day. And you are going to try to resolve things that you haven't resolved so far. That's the idea. And Regina?
Yes, in the end, it is about these two things, right? Unproductive attitudes on one hand, and the proactive attitudes on a daily basis on the other hand. And I think one thing to mention here is also important to say that it is also about de-dramatization. Right? When it comes to attitudes, we were talking about the fear of death, for example, and I think this more or less this attitude that we learn by society, right? That we have this one life and that you make the most out of it. The most out of it means for many people having this materialistic point of view, right? Having a lot of fun, gaining a lot of money or material things or whatever, but losing out of sight this evolutionary wealth, so to speak, right? So in the end, what is really important for me? What is it that satisfies me in an intraconsciential way, in a way? What gives me more inner peace, so to speak? For me, this is a very important point. And so in the beginning of the technique, it's all about also de-dramatization, about this topic of dysoma or death, like we call it in Intraphysical society. And I would like to compare it a little bit with, we normally have our courses in intraphysical society to prepare to give birth, right? So most of the time, a young woman, if she expects a baby, she goes to a course in order to receive the baby, right? And probably this would be a good course in order to prepare for the dysoma and the life that might come after, or the time between lives, right? And talking about these attitudes is in that sense really important, that you use your personal talents during the technique in order to bring yourself on another level, evolutionary speaking, right? So this is what you use, your strong traits. And for sure, you think also about what is it that I want to recycle in this life? What is it that I don't like in myself, for instance? And what is it that always hinders me to continue in relationships, in certain trades, or in certain tasks that I have, right? It can be really small things, starting with that, and then continuing to work on the bigger things, so to speak.
Very good. And I can add that if we eliminate everything that is superfluous and unnecessary in our lives, we will have more mental space for this productive and for more productive attitudes, for more proactive attitudes daily. And we have to measure as well, because if we don't measure, it's not a technique. So we mentioned that a technique is a very optimized way to do something, and it demands that we spend some time on measuring our results. We will do a planning, and then we will do how are we going to achieve these goals, né? These goals that we want to achieve, and how to measure the results. That's basic. Okay. And so in this technique, we have everything settled and organized. Regina, I want just to tell the people a little bit about how this technique was proposed. It was proposed by Dr. Valdo Vieira in the book for 700 experiments. So if you want to take a look, to read, it's on page 607 of the English version of 700 experiments. And Dr. Vieira wrote step by step some details, but in general terms. And after some years, a very nice group, got together and decided to organize a course on that. And that group had some people I will mention here, because they are all responsible for the group technique that we have today. It is Marlene Koller and Elizabeth Rodrigues, Rosemary Victorino, Isabel da Conceição, Ana Cláudia Prado. They were the ones who started organizing a course about this technique, the 1 More Year of Life technique. And year after year, the techniques and all the group got more mature. They even wrote a book about it. Okay. And well, and the thing is like it is today. Many people are applying this and getting very good results. Okay. So
Yeah.
let's
And
go
maybe
a bit
also
further.
mentioning that it helps really a lot doing this technique within a group. You have this group support, and even talking about the experience, and in the end having this overview about all the projects that were done during this year is really amazing, right?
Yes, Regina, I have here a question from Anna Yogan. Okay. me take out here. And I will read the question is, this technique could be called the scare technique because whenever we have an encounter with death, we are forced to prioritize and uh, and and how we are and to think how we are living our lives. Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly. I think that's a great point. So, because sometimes I say it's a kind of catalysator. Can I say that? Because if you really think I want to do things and you're not able, you're stuck. So then this thinking of I have only this limited time and really meaning it seriously, right? Then it can help a lot. And for sure, a lot of people are scared by that, but it's better to probably be a little bit scared in the beginning of this idea, but then clarify yourself, right? If we take our multiple lives into account, that death is not the end, right? But that we can make it kind of friend for us, in order to move forward, and also to remind ourselves that we have a plan, right? We arrived here with a plan. We want to do certain things in life. And with this technique, we can remind ourselves. So, in that sense, we can also think about death as a kind of friend, like someone who is reminding us, like let's suppose you want to do exercising on a regular basis. There are studies. It helps a lot if you do this together with other people, because other people say, hey, come on, let's go today. And you say, oh, no, I'm tired. I have to do this and that. And they say, no, they will take you and hold you accountable for what you planned. And in that sense, you can try to change your perspective and see it as a kind of wake up call, kind of reminder that helps you. And if you can
yeah,
see it like that, you don't need to be scared, right?
yes, yes. I have another question from Anna Yogan. Let's see here. As a physician, she's a physician. I had seen it post heart attack or open heart surgery. Like she's comparing the technique as a open heart surgery. What are your thoughts about it? Do you think it's that strong?
Well, I think it depends on each case. I think it depends on how much you procrastinated, and how much how is your inner sense of discomfort. If you're really feeling well with, okay, but I'm a little bit behind, that's okay. But if you really feel that uncomfortable, that you're already in a kind of let's say intraphysical, in a depression, or that you really feel bad, you have a melancholy, we call it intraphysical melancholy already. I think sometimes this open heart surgery might be something that you need, right? That will also help you to overcome these hard problems, if you want to stay in this analogy, so to speak.
Yeah. And I can mention that when I did the technique, there were some people and some young people, very young people, and during the technique, they were with a very low self-esteem. They used it to. They were in melancholy. They cried, and it was hard to overcome. In the first beginning, you see the people and they tell their point of view, tell us about their lives, because it's a group technique. And what happens there, it stays there. We aren't allowed to talk about who did what and what happened to certain people. But you see that it's a great catharsis. And we can see also that within a group that has a very good holocene, a holocene of interassistance, and one wants to help the other, and there are the tutors, there are the instructors, and we are listening ourselves. There is also the extra physical team over there, um, supporting us, giving us inspiration, and bringing us, showing us the north, the cosmoetical north of our actions. So it helps a lot. And after sometimes you see that that person that was much better and was able to overcome very basic difficulties, as Regina mentioned, that some people have procrastinated a lot of things and wanted to go into big changes. Then I think we can do this comparison, this analogy, because for some people, for other people, for example, they have achieved a lot of things and they want something else. They want to go a step further. They have done a great deal of achievements in their lives and they want something else, and that's different because then it's not so open heart, it's not so urgent, you know. It can be urgent in the sense of proaxis, but it's not that painful, I would say. Okay, I hope we have answered any other question. Please feel free to send us. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. Regina, can you tell us about how the course is structured?
Yes, I would like to talk a little bit about that because I think it's very interesting, and I think is one of the courses that is really student tailored, so to speak. And well, it starts with 4 modules, right? This is this outer ring, so to speak, right? The next course will start in March, March of this year, and it will have 4 modules. And between these modules, there are workshops as well. This is this second ring. So there are 3 workshops in the meantime, and another 3 intermodule sessions. They are smaller sessions, and sometimes it's about a movie discussion or something related to the topic, for sure, not about just cinema and having fun, but talking about serious topics of the technique. And in addition, you have on-demand personal tutoring. This is what Eliane already mentioned, right? If you have something that you really need to work out and you need support, right? You can have a one-on-one tutoring session that you can clarify your doubts, that you can have another opinion, and so there are people in the course that really are educated in that. They have a lot of experience and they will really support you on that. So I think it is something that is really going straight to the point of the person. And in the beginning, you might think, oh, well, 1 year is a long time. But I can tell you from experience, the time flies and you really need to make good use of it. And in between, you also need to really to observe, to take your notes, to work with this on a daily basis, probably putting things right in front of your face, to keep focus. And this is really important. Yeah, it's a step-by-step framework, right? You start with identifying and planning your project. So what is the point where in Germany we would say where the shoe is too small, and it always causes some pain, in a evolutionary point of view. So where are the most important needs that you need to change, that things you need to overcome, where you need to reconcile with a person? So this is what you are really decide. There is no tutor coming to you and say, you need to work on this or that. No, it's about you with yourself. And in the beginning, it's really important to have this identification. So it's not a kind of one fits all course. And this is what I really, really love about this course. So then there's support with the planning, because not all of us are used to do project planning, something like that, for this period of time. So it's important to really make a good plan. And there is a workshop on that, and this really helps you to keep on track. For sure, sometimes you can adapt during the year, depending on the situation, but it helps to really, really have this good planning in the beginning. And yeah, you look into the important areas, and for each person it's a different thing. And I think it's also a very challenging thing for the teachers, because they really look at the person. It's not I give a course for 30 people or whatever. So it's really an individual thing, and it's about the individual and personal demands of the students, right?
Yeah, and
And
I
yeah,
just want to add my experience, because I wrote, I organized it. I am one of the organizers of the term report, that is the Tesauros of Conscienciological Terminology in Portuguese. But my main project wasn't the term report. My main project was the EUTECT, that is the Thesaurus in English, for the people who live abroad, for the English speakers, to have more, to make conscienciology spread the ideas of conscienciology around the globe. And so I took the technique to do the EUTECT, to finish the EUTECT, because it's already some years that we are doing it. But what happens is that although I chose the EUTECT as the main project, what helpers showed me, what the technique made me to conclude, and all the field that is very re-education, it's based on re-education, and brings us a lot of insights. I had to do the term report first, because it's a lot of details that the team had to learn before of doing a thesaurus in English. And so that's what happened. We finished the term report first. And it was
yeah,
very educational for everyone who participated, because now we have all the knowledge that was developed in my mother language was done, and then we can replicate into English. That's much easier, even for acceptance inside the editoring, and all the learning that we acquired from the work in Portuguese, we will replicate into English. What
mm,
it wasn't possible, it wouldn't be possible before, So things sometimes happen like that. You elect a project, but there is the correction of route during the
exactly.
technique.
Exactly. I think that's a great example you brought. And I think it happens, I would not say a lot, but it happens that in the beginning you think this is your project, but then on the way you see you need to adapt that. And that's a good thing, right? And I think within the technique we have these insights, this connection with the helper, and also the support of the group, right, in order to be aware of that and take this correction. And it's not about sticking with the things we thought or we had in mind in the beginning. Sometimes we have this aha effect, like you said, no, it's not that, I need to do this first. I think that's really a great thing to see. And therefore, these checkups that we put here on the slide, I think they are really important. And it's a perfect example that you gave. Thank you. Yeah, just mentioning, as I already said, right, it's really student-centered. So it's about your topics, your goals, and your planning. So as I said, no teacher will tell you, no, you need to work on that, right? They can give a feedback if you ask for sure. But it's about your evolution and your needs that you want to cover and that you want to, how can I say, correct, get back on track, so to speak, right? But it's also your responsibility, and this is also important that we take this responsibility to us, that we don't have this that we have this view of locus of control inside us, not giving the responsibility to other people, right? It's not about I am in this situation because of X, Y, Z, but really recognizing, and I like this question, how did I create that? And I think this is one of the steps that you can really take to see, okay, it's very empowering from my point of view if you can recognize this and really turn it into something that really brings you not only, I would not say necessarily joy, it can. And I think if you achieved something, you will feel joy for sure. It could be demanding on the way, but if you have this achievement in the end of the year, it's really, really rewarding from my point of view. And in the end of the technique, you will make a presentation, you will present it in the group. As Eliane said, it will stay inside the group. And the interesting thing, a lot of people, and I experienced myself as well, think, I did not do so well. I didn't do well. And then they start setting up this presentation and reflecting on what happened during this year, because in the retrospective point of view, then a year is quite some time, right? And then you realize the things that you achieved, and this is really a pleasure as well to do that and have this conquer moment,
Yeah, Regina, and I remember, for example, we have a central project, but around there are the satellites project that we weren't even aware, and they becoming organizing. We have more energy, we get motivation, and we are able to see what's going on, and we started organizing things. For example, our relationships, our financial side, our health, and we start doing checking lists about our lives and what we want to reorganize, and things start happening in a faster way, in a more productive way. It's amazing.
Yes. And that's why what you said right in the beginning, that we see people that are really, well, with low self-esteem, a little bit depressed maybe, and in the end of the technique, really people are different. It's a different person, right, with more energy and more strength. Yeah,
it happens. So let's move forward.
Yeah, benefits of the technique. I think I already mentioned some of them, right? Being on track with your existential program, so with your life project, and also this exploration of inner recyclings, right? Meaning that we can overcome some weak traits, that we work with our inner structure, right? And move forward in this area. And improved relationships, this is also something that many people experience, right? First of all, related to their personal change. This is a kind of consequence often that they have better relationship because they change their behavior, right? And this inner pacification, this is also an effect of the technique that if you recycle things, if you have this evolutionary achievement, this gives you an inner pacification, this impression, oh wow, I'm not on track, these kind of things that people regret in the end of their lives, they diminish. So there's an increase of inner peace by applying the technique. And for sure, my hypothesis is with this, you will have a better desuma, you will have an easier death, or how can I say, moving to the other dimension, to the extra-physical dimension. And yeah, it gives a lot of focus.
Yes, and I would mention the concept of completism, consciential completism. That is a neologism from conscienciology. That means that when we go into the soma, that is the death, the intraphysical death, and we arrive in the extraphysicality, we will have opportunity to analyze if we accomplished our goals or not. And when we accomplish, we say that we were completists. And during this life, it's good to know that after we put effort, planned, follow up on what we wanted to, we finish the year with the sensation of that we are completists, and we present our progresses to the team. And this is a great moment when we organized ourselves to present what happened with us during the year and during the correction route, the correction of route, during the sensation. Sometimes during that year you feel the sensation that, wow, I feel just such a pressure to do things. It looks like it's going to be, my time is over because it's 1 year. But it's everything is positive. You feel safe. At least myself, I felt safe. I felt welcomed. I felt together with the group, and the result was positive, very positive.
Yes, it's really a non-judgmental atmosphere in the group with the teachers. It's great. Yeah.
So these are the next course. Maybe Regina can let us know a little bit more, but it's made of 4 modules, okay, 4 encounters, and they are all online. They have Do they have simultaneous translation into English? They do.
Exactly.
How it was for you
Yeah.
participating in a course that is all in Portuguese? Do they have the materials in English? How is it, Regina?
Yes. The materials are translated to English. Isaac, with this volunteers doing a great job here. So in that sense, it gives the opportunity to participate in the course. In the beginning, we didn't have the simultaneous translation, and our friend Macron, he translated in summarizing everything in written. It was so wow job that he did. Nowadays we have the simultaneous translation, and so it helps us also presenting the results, right? Also presenting it to our Brazilian and Spanish speaking colleagues in the group. So it's really great that we have this opportunity there. And yes, we only put the dates of the modules because, as I explained, there are these workshops in between and the intermodule sessions. So there are more dates, but we didn't want to put all here. You can visit the website and check out all the details, right? We will put it in the video description later on. And so you can, if you're interested to participate, you can go there and see all the dates. And yeah, so far so good.
And here we have the address for subscriptions if you live in Brazil, okay? If you live abroad, maybe this link won't work for you unless you have a CPF, that is a Brazilian document. Then if you live abroad and you don't have this Brazilian document, you please send an email for the organization of LGTM 1AVI dot gmail.com. Sorry, at gmail.com. Okay. Or if you have any difficulty, let me know. Okay. And talk to us. Here is my personal email. You can send an email to me as well, and I can put you in contact with the organizers of this technique, and you can enroll yourself. Okay, so here are the links, and here is our bibliographical references. And I want to ask Regina, do you have any other comments? Anything you would like to add?
Not from my side. If there aren't any questions that we did not cover, from my side, all fine. I would love to see you there. I think it's a great technique, and I think it can help many people. And I'm happy that we have the opportunity to participate as foreigners, non-Portuguese speakers. It's great that we have this opportunity. Yeah.
Yes, it's a great opportunity. I really recommend this technique if you want to boost your evolution and to achieve your goals in 2024. Okay, so very good. I would like to thank very much my guest Regina Schutt for being here with us.
Thank you.
And what else, people? I want to invite you for our next live that will be on February 18, Sunday at the same hour, 3 p.m. Brazil. And it will be with the instructors Jacqueline Cohen and me, Eliane Voslav, talking about the anti-rubbish life, break free from energetic rubbish. Where we would add getting rid of conditionings and attachments, aiming for evolutionary postures. Okay. And what I want to mention is that the next live has a deep connection with today's live. It's one helps the other. They are very good for recycling purposes. Okay. So I thank you very much for being here with us, and I hope to see you again very soon. Okay, bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.